Let's get to Paul's old club. Arsenal have been linked with a number of names, but did Mikel Arteta remain tight-lipped when it came to answering questions on potential new signings? Let's head to Arsenal's training ground and join Gary Cottrell and find out. Afternoon, Gary. Raheem Sterling and Neto, just a few names mentioned. What did Arteta have to say to you this morning?
Well, let's start with Raheem Sterling, because we've heard that obviously Chelsea have been offering the player around, including offering him to Arsenal. So could it happen? Well, Mikel Arteta says that him and Edu meet regularly. They've met already today. They'll meet again. They're happy with the work that they've done in the transfer window. But if the right opportunity comes up over the next few hours, then of course they'll act. But he wouldn't go into specifics.
Let's see, it's always possible, and the last 24 hours in the transfer window, never rule anything.
In our wildest dreams, Raheem Sterling?
Now you know that I cannot talk about any player.
Because you spoke last week about your admiration for him and vice versa, how you work well together. Sounds like Chelsea are offering him around. Has he been offered to Arsenal?
No, and I'm not going to be talking about this kind of thing, sorry.
Gary, we know that Aaron Ramsdale has said goodbye to the club. Did Arteta think it was a good move for him to join Southampton?
Yes, he's gone, hasn't he, to Southampton after losing his place last season to David Raya, who of course remains #1, and that's why Ramsdale has gone. He wants to play regular first-team football to try and get back into that England squad. And because the player has left and the deal has been done, it was done just before this news conference was held, Mikel Arteta was happy to talk about Aaron Ramsdale and memories of what he's contributed to the club and what he hopes for him in the future.
First of all, say thank you so much for what he's done for the club, for the team, for myself. So when he joined, he brought a lot of joy, he brought his charisma, his energy, and he was really good at that time. Obviously, things developed, and he had a situation that it was difficult for him, and he was insisting a lot that he is very happy when he plays, and we have tried to fulfill that desire that he had. He looked really excited and happy the other day, and he's joining a great club, a great coach. He looks really excited, so I think we are all happy for him.
And Gary, Arteta had huge news in terms of injury news for you. Tell us more.
Yes, there was some suggestion on social media that as things stand, their last and latest signing, Mikel Merino, had injured his shoulder because he was seen in a restaurant by an Arsenal fan with his arm in a sling. So I started off straight away asking Mikel about had Mikel Merino picked up an injury. He said yes, he did. He picked up an injury in training, a shoulder injury. It was a collision, an innocuous apparently collision with the central defender Gabriel, and he will be out for weeks. So yeah, big blow to Arsenal fans.
Very unfortunate. Yesterday he had a collision, and he's got a shoulder injury, unfortunately, and it looks like he's going to be out for a few weeks. Yeah, first session with us, yeah.
That's really bad luck, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it was really exciting. We're all very excited. Everything was looking very good, and he landed on the floor. Gabby went on top of him, and it looks like he's got a small fracture, probably.
Wow. When you say weeks?
Well, we have to see. He was in so much pain. We have to wait and see with SAF to do some more tests on that, and they would have probably more conclusive answers.
Finally, Gary, has anyone else caught Arteta's eye?
Well, obviously we know, we've spoken already, haven't we, about Aaron Ramsdale heading down the south coast to Southampton. Well, heading up from the south coast from Bournemouth to replace him on loan is Neto, the Bournemouth goalkeeper. He's in there now having a medical. I saw him arrive, so I said to Mikel Arteta, who never talks about a player until he's signed, listen, I've seen Neto arrive. Just let's be honest, he's coming in, isn't he, to replace Aaron? And he kind of had a better suggestion, I think, for another Arsenal goalkeeper. And what about outs?
What about you?
Am I tall enough?
If you are agile and mobile enough and you have the courage, that's right.
So they're in there still. They've had their training session, but no sign of Mikel Arteta or Edu, the sporting director of football leaving, they will work on a little bit longer to see if they can find a player who could make the squad stronger, make the team better. He didn't rule out Raheem Sterling, did he? But he certainly wasn't really ruling him in either. Interesting to just see what develops on that front.
Certainly will. Our Stay fans, Gary Cottrell, thank you.
Oh, goodness me, Paul. I mean, such a blow for Mikel Arteta. Losing Mikel, he's got to be, all parties, absolutely gutted about that.
Yeah, 100%. It's just bad luck. It's bad luck. You know, it's different training. It's physical training. The Premier League's physical, bit different to Spain. He's come in, he's bumped into Gabriel and he's done his shoulder. It's just bang out of luck. Absolute bang out of luck. Lucky enough, international week, couple of weeks coming up. So we have to wait and see, but hopefully it ain't a bad one.
Yeah. Looking at Arsenal and the business that they've done, were you happy with it? Do you think another face or two you would have been more pleased at, especially if they're to mount a realistic title challenge yet again?
I think their title challenge comes down to the next 3 weeks. This weekend and then the two weekends after the international break. I think if they lose 2 of them games, they're going to be right out of it, in my opinion. So up to them, we'll never know. But I thought a centre forward. I think they're going to be short centre forward. Nketiah is going to go. Jesus injured. I'm a big fan of Havertz, always have been. But I just think I don't know if that's going to be enough. And I think the forward, but. You know, how can you criticise Arteta and Edu? I think they've been absolutely brilliant in the transfer market, and Arsenal fans have got to keep faith with them too.
And get straight to Mark McAdam, who's got some big breaking news for us. Mark.
Yes, thanks very much. Welcome down to the South Coast, and it's breaking news. An email has just dropped into my inbox at the moment, and it's an official Southampton press release, and it reads as follows. Southampton Football Club is delighted to confirm it has signed goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale from Arsenal. The sought-after 26-year-old England international has moved to St Mary's on a 4-year contract, further strengthening the options in Russell Martin's squad ahead of the summer transfer window closing. Ramsdale, who has been capped 5 times at senior level for his country, has made 89 appearances for Arsenal over the last 3 seasons. And Aaron Ramsdale has been speaking to the official club media channels as well this morning, and he has said this: "I'm absolutely delighted. The way the manager wants to play, the way he was when I spoke to him, he was just full of so much enthusiasm. I'd never met him before, but he made me feel about 8 feet tall, which is just what you want." Coming back down to the South Coast as well, for me and my family, it couldn't have been an easier transition and is easier than most. So I feel like I can hit the ground running. I'm looking forward to this year, just getting back to doing what I do best, having a big smile on my face and doing it here at Southampton. Now, we have been told the paperwork Southampton believe was submitted in time before the midday deadline, allowing him to play against Brentford in the Premier League tomorrow. However, the club are still waiting for official confirmation that everything has been completed by the Premier League. But they are confident that Aaron Ramsdale can be involved should Russell Martin want to put him in the squad this weekend ahead of the international break. But obviously this is a huge deal. Russell Martin spoke in the press conference earlier on today about how confident, excited and almost out of reach this signing was at one stage this summer, but they continue to harass Aaron Ramsdale and try and convince him that this was the right next opportunity for him. We know he played down on the South Coast at Bournemouth along the road, where he had a fantastic start to his elite level career, and he's hoping that can continue here at Southampton. So official confirmation from the football club that Southampton has signed England international Aaron Ramsdale.
Big news, Mark. Thank you.
Let's bring you this. It's looking like Raheem Sterling will stay at Chelsea or move to Arsenal today. There is just as much chance of him staying, we are hearing, as leaving. Sterling is not involved in any club-to-club discussions. His immediate future will depend on how conversations develop today. What we're hearing, Sterling's family are settled in London, wants to play regularly in the Premier League. He also wants to win back his place in the England squad. Sterling has worked with Mikel Arteta before, has a very good relationship with him. Arsenal are a club who will challenge for titles and are in the Champions League, so that's a big tick. He's got 3 years left on his Chelsea contract. so he's not under any pressure to move. Raheem Sterling's Arsenal focus is in the final few hours of this window to try and get that deal done if it's going to go through. However, Arsenal are looking to reinforce the goalkeeping department. We know that Neto will have a medical today ahead of that loan move from Bournemouth. They could also bring in another keeper today, we are hearing. But they do have their eyes open to strengthening that forward line. Bayern Munich's Kingsley Coman is one they've considered. However, Raheem Sterling is also thought to have been offered to Arsenal. That, I would think, would be a little inward leap of joy for Jay Bothroyd, who is hearing that. What do you make?
A big smile.
What do you make of that? Raheem Sterling, considering the number of games they've got, Martinelli one side, Saka the other, they can't play them all. Trossard obviously is another option in those positions, but with his experience as well and his relationship with Arteta, would that be an ideal move for both parties?
I love that. I love that move. I think Sterling's a top player still. He went to Chelsea. He started off pretty well, but then obviously it tapered off. I think that was due to the ins and outs and so many players. The team was never settled. But again, I look at that and I think it could be a loan move, but it will be great for both parties. I think he's an upgrade on Martinelli. I think he's an upgrade on Trossard. He's worked with Arteta before. I think he'll be a threat. He scores goals. He'll be playing in a team that is challenging for the title. Whether you like it or not, I'm sorry, I'm going to upset you, but Arsenal are just a better team than Chelsea. So I would look at it and say, it's a great move for Sterling. It's a great move for Sterling. Like you said, his family is settled in London. He is a London boy. I'd love to have him there.
Okay. See, I'm old enough to remember SAS, which was Sutton and Shearer, but Arsenal could have SAS, Saka and Sterling now on either flank, and that you feel would be pretty good.
I like it. We've seen Sterling as well play up front as a number 9. He can do that, running behind, be a false 9. But I think it's a great move that Arteta's trying to bring him in because, like you said, Coman coming from Bayern to the Premier League, he's never played in the Premier League, he's not used to it. Well, I look at Sterling and I say he's used to it, he knows what it's all about, he's going to a better team, they're going to create chances, they're going to play the kind of football that's similar to Man City. Overall, it's a great move, if he can make it happen.
I want to go back to the Raheem Sterling news, actually, Jay, that we heard about 10 minutes or so ago, that he's either going to stay at Chelsea or move to Arsenal today. It looks the most likely club that he would go to. What I want to ask you is, we've heard a lot about the wages and the fact that a lot of clubs haven't come in because of the wages that Sterling is on, over 300k a week. Does that disrupt a potential title-challenging dressing room if someone comes in and, let's say, he's on the highest wages there, but he's not necessarily a starter? Is that disruptive?
I don't think it's disruptive, especially if you're a player like Sterling that's coming in that can bring that kind of quality, bring that experience, bring that versatility into the squad. It's a lot of money that he's on at Chelsea, and I feel like normally when loans happen, normally a club like Arsenal or the club that he's going to will cover a large percentage of that. But I think players will be excited about this. I think fans will be excited about it. I've actually heard fans talk about Sterling going to Arsenal before he went to Chelsea. So I think the players will be looking at that and saying, yeah, it's a great addition to the squad.
Just thinking, Rob, sorry. I was just thinking about the clubs that Raheem Sterling has played for in his career. And it's incredible
bad ones.
That he's only 29 years old. We're talking Liverpool, Manchester City, Chelsea, potentially Arsenal, four of the best teams in the country, and he's 29 years old. I mean, it's some career, isn't it?
Amazing career. I think he started off really well at Liverpool. Obviously, you know his quality if he's played for all the best teams. He's still 29. I'm surprised that Chelsea are letting him go. I'm surprised that they're saying that he's not good enough, basically, for the squad. And a team like Arsenal, we took Havertz. There was questions about that he's been an enigma, I'm going to say, in my opinion, but he's done really well. He scored goals, scored important goals. And this could be another player that we take from Chelsea and turn his career around.
There is a list of others who perhaps went from Chelsea.
We don't talk about that list, though.
Talk David Luiz.
That's the past. Now.
OK, no, I hear you. That relationship with Arteta, how important is that perhaps he's worked with him at Manchester City and they know each other. Is that important? You've got about 30 seconds to answer that one.
Definitely. I think when you've worked with a manager before, especially Arteta being a coach at Man City, he knows all about him, he knows his character, he knows what he's good at, and he believes that he can be very positive within the Arsenal team. And I think that's why he's looking at it and saying, we'll take him.
Arsenal confirms Eddie Nketiah's £30 million transfer to Crystal Palace. Eddie Nketiah has officially left Arsenal, sealing a move to Crystal Palace on the final day of the transfer window. The Gunners have confirmed the sale of the academy graduate in a deal worth up to £30 million. This marks Arsenal's third major departure of the summer, following Emile Smith-Rowe's move to Fulham and Aaron Ramsdale's transfer to Southampton. Reiss Nelson might also leave to join Ipswich on loan in the final hours of the window. With Nketiah's exit, Mikel Arteta has brought in Ricardo Calafiori, Mikel Merino, and David Raya, while Raheem Sterling could also join the Emirates Stadium on loan. Nketiah, who earned his first England cap in October last year, joined Arsenal as a teenager after starting in Chelsea's academy. He quickly made an impact at youth level, consistently finding the net for both his country and his new club's junior teams. In 2017, he made his senior debut for the Gunners. After being called up by Arsene Wenger for the pre-season tour of Australia and China, Nketiah made his first appearance in the UEFA Conference League against Bate Borisov. Shortly after, he scored with his first touch against Norwich in the League Cup, marking his debut goal for the club. His first Premier League goal came 2 years later, away at Burnley. Over the years, Nketiah continued to climb the ranks, including a loan spell at Leeds, where he managed only 5 goals. Despite becoming a regular under Mikel Arteta, he was never the first-choice striker. Out of his 168 appearances for Arsenal, only 38 were Premier League starts, a statistic spanning 7 seasons. The new Eagles signing didn't feature in any of Arsenal's opening 2 victories this campaign. Instead, Arsenal has leaned on Kai Havertz to lead the line over the past 12 months, with Gabriel Jesus as another option, though he's currently sidelined with an injury. Nketiah was close to joining Bournemouth, Nottingham Forest, and Marseille at various points during this window. He now heads to Selhurst Park in a deal starting at £25 million, with an additional £5 million in potential.